it's like you're a celebrity, even though people may not even know your name. It's just because once you have a different shade of hair that's longer, people lose their minds, and it's worth it because of that.
Hey, you're listening to Sam and Em Solve the World's Problems.
Yeah, big problems and casual conversations.
Today, we are going to be talking all about drag.
Yeah, we're going to talk about how you would do drag, why you would do drag, and how drag impacts on your identity.
Yeah, we're also going to touch on the way that society has accepted drag and sort of how that impacts on the entertainment industry today.
Yeah, and I couldn't be more excited about our guest, the perfect guest for this episode about drag.
Yeah, we're going to be talking to Patrick, who is Champagne the drag queen. Enjoy. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast, Patrick. We're really excited to talk to you. How are you?
Good. Thank you for having me. I'm very excited. Very excited.
So just wanted to get a little bit of insight into who you are and sort of what you do, why we've brought you on today. Do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I'm a drag queen known as Champagne. So I work all along Sydney. Been doing it for a while now, and I'm excited to share some problems and kind of talk a little bit more about it.
Yeah, hopefully we'll solve some problems.
Your name is Champagne. How did you come across the name Champagne?
Well, I always thought it was a really funny story, to be honest, until someone was like, that's not even that funny. So I was like, oh, but basically, I went to an all-boys Catholic high school, and we used to go to the house parties every Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I would always bring a bottle of champagne. And I was like, oh, this is so rude of me. There's not enough for everyone. So then I'd bring 2 bottles of champagne, and it was an all-boys Catholic high school, party, so no one wanted it. So I would then drink the two bottles, and then I'd be there swaying back and forth, and they'd say, and champagne, there we go. And then when I started drag, it just kind of initially, it just fit straight away. There was no second option or anything like that. It was just one go.
I love it. And how often do you think drag comes out of all boys Catholic high schools? It's like the normal origin story?
I think you'd be surprised. I think it's
it's either a lot
somewhere.
or none at all.
Yeah. It's one of the two. Either we all went to the same school or it's just nothing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, nice. I love your name as being Champagne, particularly because, we go to uni together, and most lunch breaks you'll be downing the champagne between classes. And that's kind of I think the first time I met you, you were downing champagne. So that's how I see you.
I will go by myself as well.
Yeah. There's many times you've been there for an hour and we've rocked up after a class and you're,
Maybe we'll get
I don't know what my other option is to study. No. It's
not going to happen.
You become quite close to the bartenders when it's just you there.
Oh,
you know what I mean? I love it. They're my people.
You've already solved some problems for us today.
Yeah. So that's how you came about your name. Sort of, how did you, maybe we'll jump straight into the first problem, because I really just want to know how you sort of came into drag. How did it all start for you?
I knew about it quite well beforehand. So I watched Drag Race, the TV show, was a fan of the show. And I always was like, no, I'll never, it didn't process. I was never watching it I wish, I was just watching the show. And then it was Mardi Gras 2018, and my family friend was running one of the floats, and she was like, do you want to be in it? I was like, sure, we'll be in it. So me and my friend Jane did it. And she was like, okay, but you have to be in drag. I was like, sure, that'll be fun. So I did it. We did the parade, and I didn't really think anything of it, to be honest. I was like, yeah, that was really good. And then from there, it just kind of people were like, hey, do you want to come do this in drag? And then it just kind of, the snowball effect happened. And then I kind of woke up one day and I was like, oh, okay, I guess I'm doing it. I guess this is happening. It was the right thing. It was definitely the right thing to do.
Yeah.
So didn't force it, but it just kind of happened, and very happy, very grateful.
Yeah. It sounds like, I would imagine drag, performing and having that kind of level of energy in that kind of character would be so much, you kind of need a specific personality type for it. So I think it's a very good testament to your sort of who you are, and that, you have that kind of charisma to just pull it off, and people, you did it once and now everybody wants this from you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's there's a lot of like, it takes so long to do everything. So when you do finally get to like the venues, it's like, let's go. Because you've sat there for 3 hours with a brush. So it's cooped up, and then you get there and it's ready to go straight away. But it's for all personalities, I think. I think there's a variety of girls that do it, and like it's good to see the differences in people as well, and like the difference in their drag and the kind of songs they do and how they like project themselves and stuff like that.
Yeah, nice. Would you say like, what's your favorite part of like sort of turning into Champagne? Do you like doing all the sort of nitty gritty hair and makeup kind of things, or it's
not at all? No, I hate makeup. I hate it. It takes so long. I can't stand it. Like if I know I have to put it on that day, my day's ruined. But once it is on, ready to go. Like that's when I'm like, oh, thank God. But actually doing it, no, can't stand it. Like,
yeah, wow.
It's just,
it always looks so impressive.
It takes so long. I have to I glue all my hair down, like here and here. So with a glue stick, and then you cover it in makeup as well.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so that was your hairline kind of area you have to glue down.
Just because it's like, I normally do wear lighter color wigs like blonde. So you can't have any of like the dark hair showing. So all this gets fully glued down, powdered, foundationed. So it just looks like skin.
Wow.
And
how did you learn to?
It's painful.
Yeah. How did you learn to do all of it?
You learn slowly. So your first time out is always a mess. You always look a mess. And then you slowly over time, through YouTube as well, like you just pick up different things that you wouldn't know that you needed to know kind of thing. Like you can't just watch a video and go, oh, that's it, because everyone's got different issues to fix and stuff like that. But over time, you slowly pick up something new until it's just ready to go.
Yeah. So for you, was it more of an individual experience, or is it a really like inclusive community that like helps you out and guides you? Or?
It was, for me, it was individual. It is very inclusive. Sometimes there are some like, it's like a very inclusive community once you get in, but sometimes it's hard to like break through that to get into that inclusive part.
Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, originally it was very individual. It was just me. So I know a lot of drag queens go the way of having like drag parents, or it's like a drag mum. So who is an experienced drag queen, and they'll take you, that's what it's called. They take you like under their wing, and then they show you how to do everything.
Yeah.
But for me, it was just me.
So, I mean, I'm sure it is fun to do the, like, once you're in it all, it sounds really like fun and huge, but like, it sounds like kind of tedious and, you know, ruins your day when you have to put on makeup. Why do it?
Because once it is on, it's like, it just makes it so much better. Like everything's more fun. You can get away with everything. Everyone wants to see you. Everyone wants to like get to know you, come up to you, tell you, like it's like you're a celebrity, even though people may not even know your name. It's just because once you have a different shade of hair that's longer, people lose their minds, and it's worth it because of that. It's worth it for the attention, I should say. Wow. And I do love performing. Yeah. So but that's just the process you have to do to get to that stage. Yeah. It's just that tedious makeup and all that. So
that sounds amazing. That sounds like the only experience that I could ever relate to that would be similar to that was when we went to the United States as Australians, as like teenagers.
I was going to say like Disneyland almost, like, you know, it's like the people in the costumes at Disneyland like look so cool, and you go up to them and I mean, it's just a person in a costume.
But I can't say that I've ever had an experience that would be remotely similar to being that level of performer, but like, that's the only thing that I could relate to, like just feeling like, I don't know. It sounds like it feels like you can just be like this, like super extra version of yourself. Like,
it's kind of like you're a celebrity for a night.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Once you leave and take it off, no one cares or knows who you are at all. Like no one could care less. But like when you arrive and like walk in, everyone, even people sitting down, just kind of like everyone stares like just as you walk in, because it's so new for some people, or it's like they just want to see what you're doing tonight. It's just like being very popular. It's the best way I could probably describe it. Like,
I mean, it's spectacle, right? Like there's a lot of like, from looking at your Instagram stuff, is there like a lot of shiny, like big, beautiful colors and like
Of course, there's a lot. It's all like packed away in my room, but it's one open cupboard. Everything just kind of overflows.
Yeah. So imagine if you walk into any kind of room, there's going to be people that are going to stop and stare and be like, "Wow!" Like,
oh yeah.
Be hard to miss.
Yeah, it's expensive though. Drag is very expensive.
Yeah, I never thought about that.
Expensive sport.
Yeah.
So I think what the saying is, good drag ain't cheap, and cheap drag ain't good. So you have to kind of invest constantly just to like keep up to everyone else's level.
Yeah.
For sure.
Is there like an end goal kind of thing with doing drag?
That would be Drag Race. That's everyone's end. That's like the Olympics. And I think the difference with the Olympics and drag, obviously there is a big difference. But with the Olympics, like you train for years to be the very best. But then with Drag Race, it's like they could cast anyone. So everyone has that opportunity to get on. Even like, obviously if you've been more experienced, you are more likely, but like they cast people who've just started and stuff like that as well, just to contrast. So everyone has that opportunity to get on it and everyone wants it. That's like that is everyone's end goal in the drag race, like in the drag world.
Is there like a level of competitiveness then with other drag queens because you're all kind of fighting for the same thing?
Of course.
Or no, because there's
God.
like equal opportunity for everyone. Like you don't know sort of what they're looking for.
It's competitive. Everything is competitive. Everything. And people can say, no, it's not. No, everything's competitive. Everything. Who has bigger hair? Who has better outfits? Like who's a better performer? I will say it's like, I try not to get in that mindset because it's like, there is always someone better no matter what. But it's a very competitive kind of lifestyle. Yeah. I think it's because it's like, it's not like you're competing with like natural features. So it's not like, look how long my natural hair is. Like it's because everything's bought and put together. Yeah. It's like, look what I've done, look what you've done.
Is it a money contest in that way kind of thing?
Not really, because I know a lot of girls who like sew all their own outfits to save money and stuff like that. It's just they call it polish. Yeah. So it's like who is the most polished. Yeah. Who from head to toe is like perfect hair, perfect makeup, can dance, can sing, can perform, can sew, can do like it's just there's a checklist and who can tick off the most boxes is kind of what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow. I never it's so interesting to me. Never would have thought about any of that.
I'm interested, like what does a night out kind of look like? Is that when you would do your shows kind of thing, or do you do them on different nights? Like what does it look like?
I would say like a regular night out. It's been a little different with Corona, obviously.
Yeah, classic.
Just because they're kind of dinner shows now. So instead of it being like a nightclub at, midnight and everyone's had too much to drink, now it's like you're on stage at 6:30 p.m. and people are there eating a steak. So it is like a different like audience atmosphere to perform to.
Different vibe, huh?
But I would say like...
Sorry, I was going to ask about like, does that make it really hard to do like any kind of crowd work?
It's harder. Like majority of the time it's fine, but there was a few weeks ago and the crowd was like, you could just tell they were dead sober and they just kind of sat there and looked at you. And it's like no matter, you could have done 3 backflips, they wouldn't have moved. And it is because that never has happened. And I was like, I think it's just the different changing times, like with Corona and stuff like that. Yeah. That we have to adapt as well. So because you're not allowed to leave the stage anymore and like interact with the audience. Like you just go on that stage and you have to stay there.
Yeah. So what would a night out look like then?
So after 3 hours of putting on thick cement makeup, we shop at the club, drinks, they do like big introductions. Whoever is hosting the show will do a few numbers. And then depending on how many girls have been like booked for that night, we'll do our numbers, we'll do our sets. Some people may be doing more, some people may do one. And then party straight after that. Nice. So, and we'll venue hop as well, depending on the night. So it might be different like shows at different venues. Where you have to like rush this one, rush that one, do an outfit change or something like that. It just depends because every night could be different depending on whose show it is and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of alcohol. It's a lot of alcohol. That's drag queen water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So champagne specifically.
You can't go on without champagne specifically. You can't go on without having some water or the champagne first.
Yeah.
Some water.
And I know,
stay hydrated.
Yeah, stay hydrated. I know on a Sunday night, the hosts always say, and they say, if you want to buy champagne a drink, she drinks champagne. And at first I was like, oh, that's so nice of them. And then you'd be surprised. People just kind of put the drink in front of you and walk away. They don't even want to talk to you if they're just like, here you go. So
that's real celebrity right there.
After a drink.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I love it.
Imagine if you named yourself after a drink that you just really couldn't stand anymore. Like, I hope you never get sick of champagne.
Exactly.
I'm sure you won't.
I could have been like vodka shots and it would have been a whole different story.
Yeah. So, it'd be much messier shows.
It'd be a much messier show.
Yeah.
Which might be better at this point.
Champagne's great because I think it's really classy as well.
Yeah. And it's also like cheap. Like it's like the house sparkling. So it's not like people are like, well, I'm not going to buy her a like $80 glass. It's like a $7 house sparkling. So it's like, it's affordable, delicious, and people will pay for it. So.
But it has the capacity to be super expensive if anyone ever wants to treat you as well. So.
Exactly.
This is such a well thought out name.
I know. I didn't think of this, to be honest. Like it wasn't like, oh, let me see who I can scam out of a drink. But like once it kind of like started happening, I was like, got it. I'm never changing this. I'm never changing
this.
Yes.
How much is the champagne like persona different to you? Like, is it a different character kind of thing? I've heard that some drag queens kind of do that and they're different.
For some people it is. For me, it's not really. It's more of like a more extroverted version of me, if anything. Yeah. I think it's different. Like when it is kind of like armor, it's just you look like a completely different person. So if people do criticize you, it doesn't like hit as hard because it's like, well, this isn't really me kind of thing. So you are more confident in general. But I'm still the same person, just in blonde hair. That's all it is.
Yeah.
But I know for some people who are on the more quieter side anyway, it's like a whole new world, whole different person. Like, so.
Yeah.
I feel like that kind of answers like.
Which I think it's each to their own, but like, I don't know. It should just be the one, I think. Like, just a heightened version. Because, I mean, I've met drag queens outside of when they're not in the hair and the makeup, and they are like quite different sometimes. And it's always like, oh, okay. So I think it's healthy to find that balance instead of having two separate versions of yourself.
Yeah, just amplifying yourself kind of. Is that kind of...
I imagine it would be a weird kind of like sense of self having two kind of identities if they were super separate and different. So, yeah.
Do you know anyone that operates that way? Are there any drag queens?
I know a few. And it's not as drastic as it sounds. Like, it's not like it's like that movie Split where they're just like two people.
Hated that.
But it is like that, like, you know, they are more this as this person or more that when they're in drag. And it's like, I think it's kind of healthy to find a nice blend instead of like having this like persona more say. And for the majority they are, but I get it. Like people are different. Everyone's got a different story and journey and like entryway into drag. So whatever works really.
Would you say that it's changed the way that you view yourself as well after doing drag?
I think so. I think you're just more confident in general. Just because you can, like, you're like, if I can do that in all that makeup, hair, wigs, like I can kind of do anything at this point. Like you get tougher skin just naturally from it. So.
Yeah. Speaking of tougher skin, I don't know if we're going to talk about this in another problem.
Yeah, I was about to say that's a nice segue into our second problem. But what were you going to ask?
I was just going to ask, like, have you experienced any kind of, I don't want to say like, I don't know, like.
Backlash?
Yeah, like any kind of a.
I have not. I've been very lucky. And it's very rare, to be honest, that someone hasn't, because it
good.
As you can imagine,
not good. I thought you were going to say it's very rare that someone experiences it, and I was like, great.
Oh no, it's very rare that someone hasn't. Like very, very rare.
That's the worst.
So I've been very lucky, because I know a majority of the girls and the queens have just had it so much harder. So
yeah,
I do think that we are living in like the golden era of drag, and I think that because of Drag Race, it has become so much more acceptable. But I mean, before that, it was so like shunned almost, like black, like taboo and very like not, it's heard of, but like not really accepted as much in society. Whereas now it's become a lot more mainstream.
Wow, what a great podcast. This is Phoebe. You may remember me from episode 15 of Sam and Em Solve the World's Problems. I just want to say, I mean, what a great podcast. This conversation is just wonderful. I just could listen to these guys all day. Could you listen to these guys all day? Oh, brilliant. Well, why don't you tell your friends? Why don't you rate, review, subscribe? I mean, does it get any better than this? Why don't you write in? Ask people about your problems, maybe we could solve them. Anyway, as I say, rate, review, subscribe. Let's go back to the episode.
Yeah, that is literally perfect to segue into our second sort of problem, which is all about how sort of drag is accepted in society or not accepted. So yeah, I'm really glad that you brought that up, because it's kind of horrible to think. I mean, I can imagine that, yeah, RuPaul's Drag Race has had a huge effect on sort of the socially acceptedness of drag.
Oh, completely.
Well, I guess from your perspective, do you feel like drag is a socially accepted form of self-expression in society in general?
I think now 100%. 100%. It's become, I don't want to say it like, but it is like that kind of like hot topic at the moment where it's like everyone wants a slice of the cake. It may not be that way for a while, forever. Like it may only be just like a few more like years, but right now it's like everyone wants to be a part of it. Like companies want to hire drag queens to do ad. Like this is like the real golden era for everyone. And it is because of Drag Race, really, like that.
Yeah.
RuPaul completely changed it, like made it pop culture.
I was going to say my corporate Christmas party had drag queens for sure. I think multiple years.
Does that make you excited and happy that like you have all these opportunities to perform, or is it kind of like, oh, these people are cashing in on this thing that I really like and they're only doing it now because it's kind of socially accepted, but where were they when it was, not?
Oh, both. But you have to take it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, people cash in because it's popular, but I think that's just with everything. Like,
yeah.
Just in general, like once something becomes big, everyone wants a piece, everyone wants a slice. And it's perfect for us because it's like there is more opportunities and there is more like availability to work and have like these amazing opportunities to have. And that wouldn't have been possible maybe like 10, 15 years ago. And it's only since really Drag Race has pushed drag into that mainstream view that it's been acceptable and like available to us.
Yeah. How hard is it to actually find work, find places to perform kind of thing?
I think when you first start out is the hardest bit of like being a drag queen, because it is really about who you know at this point as well, like, and like who the venue people are, who the booking agents are. So, and obviously it's been a bit different with Corona, but I would say starting out, you just really have to like go in with and be prepared to do only free gigs.
Yeah.
Just to get your name out there, just so people can know who you are. But I think it's kind of the same with like if you were in a band or something like that and you wanted to perform at places, like to start off, like you will be doing free gigs.
Yeah.
Just to even get known.
I was going to say, it sounds very much like the entertainment industry, who like starting out free exposures, all the, like that's what people are getting paid in exposure.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
Does social media help with that exposure? Like, I know you put a lot of effort into your Instagram page. Does that help to get you shows, or is it kind of like you still need to prove that you can actually be an entertainer, even if you've got these beautiful Instagram pictures?
You have to prove. It doesn't mean anything, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like they're not going to look at that.
Yeah.
If they want to book you, they'll look at it to find you and like get in contact with you. But it's more like
you have to be doing the work.
It's word of mouth, and a lot of work put in. But I mean, it doesn't hurt to have a nice Instagram either. Just so if people do find you, they're like, okay, we kind of know what to expect if we do book her as well.
And shout out to your Instagram.
I have the
yeah. Do you want to give a quick plug?
I put like absolutely. That's Champagne Drag, one word.
Nice.
Follow
It'll be
me,
links
please.
below.
Don't follow your dreams. Don't follow your dreams. Follow me.
I love that. I want to use that as a soundbite in our outro.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's great. I know you're like, we've talked about RuPaul's Drag Race like a lot.
Yeah.
And I remember one of the first things that we talked about just at uni or something was that you really wanted to be on Drag Race. What does that actually like mean to you? Like, how important is that to you?
That is like end goal. That would be as high as I could probably go for now that I can see. It's everyone's end goal as well. So it is going to be so tough. Because we do have the rights now for the Australian version. So when it does eventually go ahead, it's going to be a bit of a bloodbath to get on.
Yeah.
But it would be, even if I go home first, even from the first person to be eliminated, it would be so special, like so amazing. Because this is like, it's sounds like it's like the community show. Like everyone in the drag community watches this show religiously. Like this is everyone's dream. So everything in the world.
Kind of like the ultimate form of acceptance, or is it just like, I love this show, it would be awesome to be on it kind of thing?
I think both, but I think it's like the ultimate form of like validation as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that it's like you've made it if you've been it on. If you're a Ru girl, you've made it.
Yeah.
Even if you're first to go home, even if you go on, have a breakdown and don't even compete and just go home within the first 10 minutes, you still made it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So,
like getting played once on Triple J for a band. Yeah. It's the gates. Yeah. It's the gates to making it. I love that.
Yeah. You kind of also touched on before that you sort of not had any super negative experiences. But do you feel like there's still a kind of stigma around drag that you have to fight and battle out, or?
I'm sure there is, but it's just not present in my life at all.
That's great.
Or in my drag life or anything like that. But then again, it's like we go to these venues, like we go to drag clubs. So it's not like we're going to like venues that don't know that we're coming almost. Like it's everyone knows
like people
we're there.
know what they're signing
up
like for.
Exactly. So it's not some huge shock when drag queens show up. And I mean, on Monday night, the venue that we perform at, Universal, they took all of us queens to Hoyt's, the entertainment center. And there was for a big photo shoot and stuff like that. And just to say thank you. And even then, even like the random people passing by, they were loving it. Like they didn't know we were going to be there, but they were very like, wow, look, what is this? Like, so I kind of was like, oh, I think it is definitely more accepted in the public eye, obviously, compared to what it used to be. But stigma wise, I don't think so. I think maybe for some people, I can't talk about from my experience. I haven't had any bad like stigma surrounding it.
Yeah. Well, that's great. That's ideal.
Yeah, I'm honestly really glad to hear it. I really like that. I feel like we've obviously come a really long way if that's the case. And I mean, I know that you have like all these now, these days, as you said, like there are like places that you can actually go to that are specifically for drag.
I mean, I'm so thankful that like even venues are open during these times. Like because they really had to change everything because these were clubs.
Yeah.
And now they've turned themselves into like restaurants. So we have the opportunity to even perform anywhere. I'm so grateful for.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't even think about. I mean, I've thought a lot about the entertainment industry and how it's kind of disappeared. But yeah, that's great that you still have that opportunity.
Yeah,
even if it's a little bit different because they're more sober.
Yeah. How many venues are there, would you say, in Sydney, for example, that you could go to for drag?
At the moment, there's probably like that are open. There's probably like 4 or 5, but it was a lot more obviously before Corona.
Yeah.
So
hopefully they all come back and the industry still,
I hope so.
Good when Corona ends.
I think they will. There's been a lot of like Corona queens that have started doing, or like quarantine queens that have started doing drag during the quarantine time.
Oh, wow.
And then, so there is that like huge surge now because everyone was stuck inside, that once the club started opening, everyone flocked out and it was all like brand new people. So I think there's no shortage of like girls performing and stuff like that at the moment.
We have a few listener questions for you. I'll just pull them up. This one is a personal favorite of mine because it makes me think of the musical Kinky Boots, which I absolutely love. Where do you get your shoes from? I have giant feet and can't find nice heels.
Online or on Crown Street. So we wear stripper shoes is what they're called, like pleasers, and they make them to like a size 16. So it's all like latexy stripper, like pole dancing shoes. And then we wear those because they make them for such huge sizes.
Yeah.
So we don't go to like a Westfield and like because they will not have our sizes at all. So
that's what I don't know if you've seen or heard of the musical Kinky Boots, but it's like all about this shoe factory that's going under, and they decide to start making shoes for drag queens, and it's one of my favorite shows ever, and that's all I could think about is where do you actually get them? Yeah.
It's there's a place on Crown Street called High Heels, like that's the store name, and they have a huge website, and it's just stripper shoes.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
Amazing.
Well, there's your answer.
Yeah. We have another one here. It's what do you wish more people knew about drag?
I think I wish more people knew how much effort it takes to do. It takes so much work just to even get out there. And especially when people come up and pull your wigs kind of, or like touch you. It's like, I've been putting this on for hours. Like,
yeah. I was about to ask, how many hours does it take to get ready?
I would take 2 to 3 to do makeup, and then like all the wigs and hair and outfits, and like I wear like 6 pairs of stockings, and we put fake hips in, so that it like makes that like hourglass shape.
Wow.
It probably takes like 3.5 hours just to like get out the door ready to go.
Yeah. Wow.
So when people do come up to you and start like pulling at you, it's like, stop.
Yeah.
Like this isn't a like 10-minute job.
Yeah, first of all, don't touch me anyways.
Yeah.
We have one more question as well. And this one, I don't know if this is hard for you because like the way that you described getting into drag was like it was one thing and then you just kind of kept going. But this question is, what was your defining moment? Like when did you know this is what you wanted to do? Was there a defining moment for you?
Kind of. I think when I realized that this was what was going on, that's when I was like, okay, I want to do this. Like at first I was like, this is fun. Like, this is fine. Like I'm just going out and seeing my friends anyway. Like we're doing the Mardi Gras parade and all that. And then once it started happening more, was kind of when I was like, okay, this is it. Like, this is good. This is fun. I can realize that I can actually make this work for me. And I love it. I love doing it. It's so much fun. It's so much fun. I mean, I go on stage and I mouth the words to my favorite songs. Like it's a good gig.
Yeah. Nice.
Do you have like a favorite story of like a favorite night that you had or something?
I think I loved the first night I performed. I loved it. I did Shania Twain, and I had her. I had the That Don't Impress Me Much outfit made. So I had the leopard and the cape and everything like that. And it was such a good night. Everyone was it was, I don't know if it was a special event or something like that, because everyone was so ready to party. So it was so exciting. Like, I think that was when I was like, this is it as well. Like, just the reaction from that first performance. Like, loved it.
That's great.
Gotta love a bit of Shani Twiz as well.
I love Shania.
Yeah.
Who doesn't? I feel like, I've never met a person who doesn't love Shania Twain.
I think that's it on our end for problems. Do you have a problem for us that you want us to solve?
As a complete spender, like I spend everything I've got, what is a way to help me save some money? Because I put it all into the drag, and I should probably put some away.
That is a really good question.
And it's helped me with my recommendation for this week, so thank you so much. I now know what I'm going to recommend. Do you want to start, Sam?
Oh, I can just relate to this so well.
Yeah.
I lived in the inner west, like near Sydney, for about a year, and I went through all my savings and had to move back to back in with my parents, which is where we are now. And I don't know that I have any solutions, because I feel like I am one of those people who just absolutely adapt to whatever pay that I'm getting as well. Like, my lifestyle will increase or decrease depending on what I'm getting paid. So what I've heard, though, is that you should have a separate savings account that you don't have access to.
Yeah.
Like, that's what my parents are always telling me. They're like, we will create one for you and you have to give us this much money every week. And I've just never taken them up on that because I want to spend it.
Yeah.
Like, I can't believe, like, all that rent money that I think I've saved a bit, but I should have saved a lot more as well. So I would love to hear some suggestions if any listeners have any suggestions as well. But yeah, what about you, Em? Do you have any?
I have a lot of tips, actually. Not that I'm not good at saving. Let me put that out there. These are all things that I work on. I'm not very good at it, but I have a lot of things to say about this. So first of all, which is also my recommendation for this week, there's a podcast called She's on the Money, and it's basically about like trying to teach women specifically, but it is applicable to anybody, about how to be better with their money. So like they do episodes on like why you should close your Afterpay account, or how to start investing, or how to start saving for a home loan even if you don't have a partner, or all those kind of things. Like has so much budgeting, especially, like there's just so much info there. And they have a Facebook group as well where people are constantly like posting their money wins about how they've, you know, because of this podcast, they've saved a bunch of money and managed to pay off their debts and all this kind of stuff. It's really inspirational. Even if you don't actually get tips from it, thinking about money through listening it to the podcast really has helped me, like just try to think about the way that I handle my money. Definitely the savings account is a good option. You definitely want to have some sort of like long-term savings account that you can put, even if it's like $50, $25 a week to just put into a way. Like you're then slowly making these steps. You'll, you know, at the end of the year, you'll just have a little bit of money there. But like, you know, you can look back and be like, wow, I saved that much money. That's still really impressive.
How do you stay motivated to do that though? Because that's something where like
automatic transfers. You don't stay motivated. You just do it for yourself.
No, but like, can you see it? Because I feel like as soon as like I get like halfway through the year, I'd be like, oh, there's like a few $100 there I could use for this. Like, you know what I mean? Like how do you...
So I was basically, I had like an everyday account that I would spend out of. It was like a debit account, and then I had a savings account attached to it. And I really, whenever I would put money into my savings account, I would then look at this massive number, not massive, but it was massive to me. You know, if I looked in there and I had $5,000, I'd be like, oh my God, I have so much money. Like I'm going to go buy that thing that I want that I really can't afford because like I'm trying to save for this thing. And I would just look at that number and be like, yeah, I can afford whatever I want. So I needed to find a way to like split my money into what I was actually saving for. So I'm now with a bank called Up Bank, which basically allows you to have as many savers as you want. It's like one saving account, but you can allot money to different things. So I have like 10 savers, which means that, you know, I can see that I've got a certain amount of money allotted to my Thailand trip and certain amount of money allotted to going to New Zealand, and I'm saving up to buy a laptop, and that's separate as well, and saving up to move out, that's separate. And I have like, you know, petrol, I have a specific account for that, and I can see it all broken up. So I'm less likely to be like, oh, I have this much money, I can go buy whatever I want, because I know that it's going to come out of Thailand and I really want to go on that trip, and so I don't want to take money out of that fund kind of thing.
Oh, that's so good.
That's such a good idea.
Yeah.
Maybe I should switch banks. I've
told you about this before.
I used to have the same credit card as you, but I still have that old one that you used to have. And now I'm going to copy you again probably and get on that one too.
It's good. My one thing is that I don't know where that bank invests, and I need to look more into that.
Okay.
Which I know is something
ethical.
that you care about. But I think it's attached to Bendigo Bank. I think
they're a community bank.
Yeah. So I think it's not going to be too bad. I just don't know what it is. But yeah, my advice would be like, make a spreadsheet and try to allot your money to things so you know where it's going. And
you lost me at make a spreadsheet.
Okay. Just even if you just like for like a month, write down everything that you're spending. And then when you can see like I spend $50 a month on coffee, you may be like, I want to cut back on that a little bit. Maybe I'll only give myself like $20 a month or something like that. Like just noting where it all goes. Or if you're happy with where it all goes, then like that's great. But if you notice a trend you don't like, you can, once you write it down somewhere, you can see it a little easier. And there's plenty of apps for that as well. There's one called Pocketbook.
I was going to say, I was waiting for you to finish so I could say, I got that. I looked at it once and I was like, okay. And then I haven't looked at it since, but it was good to be able to have visibility on what I was spending my money on.
So my ultimate solution is listen to She's on the Money and join the Facebook group. And all of those tips that I've said are from She's on the Money. So...
My problem is like it goes all into the drag. Like it's just back in, and it's the best way I can explain it is like if you ever played The Sims, like you'll make your sim and then you'll be like, wait, but I want to buy this hair for her now. Like, and it's just that constant like, but look at that, look at this outfit. Like let's change it up. So it's I've got to work on like
or even
being like happy with what I've got.
Yeah, maybe making like a saving account specifically for drag stuff, and you can put a certain amount of money into it every week. And then, you know, if you want a new wig, if you've got the money in that account, you can buy it. If not, you have to wait until you can afford it and then you buy it kind of thing. Like that might be a good way. That's what I try to do with clothes. I try to put a certain amount of money into an account that I don't see, and I can only buy it if the money is in that account. It doesn't work very well for me because I memorize my bank details, but it's a good idea in theory to like just try to separate it and keep it like, but
I'm going to do it. I need to do it. Yeah, 100%.
I would say, like, if you wanted to start with anything, start with Pocketbook because it's so easy.
It basically just shows you what you're spending your
downloading
money.
an app.
Yeah.
And then
I'm going to write that down.
Yeah.
It's just like a little budget kind of thing.
Yeah, even though I don't use it to its full capacity at the moment, every few days it'll send a notification to me and be like, did you know you spent $500 yesterday? I'll be like, what?
Yeah.
What on? And I'll look at it and I'll be like, oh, there's a few bills that came out and whatever. But it just keeps that visibility there.
Keeps you thinking about it.
Yeah. And I'll be like, okay, if previously I wouldn't have known that I had spent that money and I would still probably go out and do, I don't know, spend money on stuff that I don't need, but now I'll be like, oh, I probably shouldn't because I just saw that money came out.
This is definitely an episode that I want to do.
Yeah, we need to do a finance one.
Yeah.
Oh, the really riveting issues.
Honestly, I remember being like frustrated at the end of last year, 2 years ago, something like that. I was like at a camp and I was just like, everybody wants to talk to me about spirituality. Someone just tell me how to budget, damn it. And I made Cass sit down with me and teach me how to budget. And it was very helpful. I hope we solved that for you. It's a hard one to solve.
I know. It's very...
And I feel like it's never fully solved. It's something that you just have to...
ever-growing thing for everybody, I think. But yeah, you're not alone in not being able to save money either.
I know. Thank God.
All us
I think it's
millennials.
Drag queen finances don't really blend together.
It sounds like an expensive kind of hobby. Not hobby, but like expensive thing to be involved 100%.
In. 100%.
I was just like imagining going to like a drag bank.
Yeah, imagine.
I would go there. I'd imagine the credit cards. They'd be so shiny.
You already have a holographic one.
I love it.
Shall we move into recommendations? I've already kind of said mine, which is the She's on the Money podcast.
Yep.
Which I'm really happy that question came up because I had absolutely nothing else to recommend.
Yeah,
but I love that podcast.
Yeah, I'll have to give it a listen. Do you have any recommendations?
I recommend that everyone listening comes and sees my show.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was going to say, I want to plug your like upcoming shows, but we need to make like this episode won't be out for a few weeks.
I only know them like a day or two before anyway.
Yeah.
So
when the episode goes up, we will post an Instagram post with Patrick's shows for the week if we can.
Okay.
That we'll get from you when it's going to go live. So check our Instagram right now for when he's performing next.
Yeah. And check Champagne's Instagram.
Yes.
Yeah, like follow your dreams. No, don't follow your dreams, follow me. There we go. Almost.
Is there anything else you want to plug while we're on the topic?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think that's everything.
Okay. Well, it'll all be in the show notes, so check everything out.
Absolutely. My recommendation this week is, of course, more music. Let me get it up so that I can... Yeah, so there's new Dustin Tebbutt came out. I'm not sure when. I don't know if I'm late to this, but it came out in 2020. So it's Dustin Tebbutt Last Line EP. There is a Vera Blue cover on there. He covered Hold, and it's really acoustic chill music. So if you like acoustic, then I love it.
Yeah.
Like I really, really like it.
Yeah, Dustin Tebbutt is always great.
Give it a listen. Yeah, and I came to the realization this week that he don't miss. Like everything that he's released, I've been like, okay, he's one of my favorite artists of all time, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like chill acoustic kind of vibes.
Moved into that category for me. Yeah, but it's just so well done. Like it's almost like Bon Iver level production. Like,
yeah.
Whew, so good. So thank you so much for joining us, Patrick.
Oh, thank you for having me. Thank you.
It's been awesome to get a little bit more insight into you and Champagne and the drag community as a whole. Thank you so much.
I'm glad. Thank you both for having me. Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, you can subscribe, leave us a review, follow us on Instagram.
Don't follow your dreams, follow me.
Show us where you're listening by posting and tagging us on Instagram. We also have a Patreon account and you can subscribe there and support us if you'd like.
Also, the music is by The Vinyl Press and you can find them on Instagram at The Vinyl Press.
Yeah, and send us any problems that you have. We want to solve them for you.
Woo!